So, just put that out there because the Bears are 5-1. So I just wanted to clear that up and get that
5-0 Seahawks.
I appreciate that, Mark. I really do. I really appreciate you. I just got to let you know,
Seahawks are 5-0, Jim. So,
Yep.
hey, you guys are doing good.
Hey, lose, win, or tie Cowboys till I die. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Lori Oken, I don't know if anybody else is in from Chicago, but yeah, that was for you guys.
Yeah. Go Bears!
Quick question for you guys. Real quick question. Anybody, is this your first time to Coach's Corner? This is your first time? Any first timers in the house? Stephanie, good to see you here with us. I'd like to give Stephanie an opportunity. I saw her raise her hand. If you'd like, you want to unmute your microphone real quick. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing here, what are you searching for, anything specific about your job search we can help and support you with.
You bet. Thanks for this, Trevor and Mark. Appreciate it. Good to see everybody. I see some familiar faces from AMA Houston group called Job Forward, Leora and Sharon. I see you guys. So I am looking for a content management, content writing, content development role. Got communications background. I'm looking especially at small to medium-sized software companies. I'm local to Houston, but of course, as everybody is right now, open to working remote. Just has to stay local to Houston after people end up going back to the office space, whatever that may be. So just want to get some tips. I'm actually presenting later this week at a conference, and so I've got to jump off about 3:30, but want to jump in for the first half hour though.
Well, thank you for joining us. What are you presenting on today?
It's a content development, content and UX writing conference called Button, put on by a company called Brain Traffic. There's a lady, Christine Halverson, is kind of a guru in the space, and her company Brain Traffic has come up with this a conference called Button, like think website button design. And so it's actually the first time they're doing this. I actually got a scholarship for it. They generously matched during, I think 2 weeks during October, they matched each ticket bought with people who either were affected by COVID. That's me, probably like everybody else on here. Just through financial hardships, whatever reason, you could make a case for why you need a scholarship. So I got one. One of the segments each day is there's a self-help, there's an amateur hour, and there's a third one I can't remember. And they just took abstracts, and so mine is on the self-care and how you've gotten through COVID and the pandemic and all the craziness. So it's a brief, like 4-minute segment, but it should be kind of fun, something different. So I'm looking forward to it. Great way to network and connect with people in the content world and design world. So I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us today and for sharing. Are there any other first timers in the room? Any other hands going up? I can't see. Okay. Well, let me give you guys a quick intro. Actually, let me grab the screen real fast. What's up, Josh Ferris? Good to see you here, man. What's going on? What's good? Josh Ferris, love Josh. Good guy right there. All right, so
what up?
What's up, man? What's going on with you?
Just a Monday.
Beautiful Monday.
I know.
All right. So I want to also see if there are any resources in the house, because I know we had somebody who was it? Who registered? I got the registration here. There was a recruiter. Who was it that registered? Oh, here it is. Do we have Ray Radia in the house? Ray Radia, are you here with us today? No, okay. Well, I'm going to reach out to him and figure out what that was about. Okay. Any other resources, recruiters, hiring managers, coaches, anybody here that wants to give a quick plug? Anybody else in the house today? All right. A couple things I wanted to share. I had this video, we shared it last week, Jennifer McClendon. Jennifer, are you here with us? Okay, so Jennifer sent me a message today that her video possibly has landed her the job. So we need to, she's waiting on the written offer. What I thought was very interesting about this, her story, was that she was her own worst critic when it came to this video. She sent me an email saying how she thought it didn't bring any value. She was like really, really worried about it, as we all are, right? We get in our own head and get in our own funk sometimes. And then about, I don't know, a week and a half later, literally that fast, like the video came up in the interview, that whole process. And so she's excited. She's waiting on the written offer. I want to play this one real quick. So we also have another special guest with us. Hopefully, Janice, are you here with us right now? Well, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you.
Hi, my name is Janice L. Downey, and this is my very first LinkedIn video. I help people and companies generate new ideas, programs, and products. This is critical for new revenue and your company growth. We all struggle with making sure new products and programs are on point with customers, executed well, and fast to market. So to save time and drive results through change and collaboration, call me. I can and have achieved this by working with leadership, cross-functional teams, customers, and strategic partners, listening to them, hearing unmet needs, championing their perspective when developing new ideas and solutions. I love the challenge of bringing together teams of talented and diverse people and bringing out the very best in them to solve tough problems and accomplish more than they thought possible. I'm working to be more active on LinkedIn, so when you hear of recruiters or companies needing expertise, innovation design, product, or program development, please add their name to the comments below and connect us on LinkedIn. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.
All right, big round of applause for Janice. So I'm going to be posting this video this week. Be on the lookout for it in your pods. Let's get this video out there. Let's make sure we comment, like, and share on it. Let's get them out there. I do also want to bring that up real quick about the engagement pods, because I've noticed that some of them are working really well and others are not necessarily doing what they're supposed to be doing. So does everybody understand, or does anybody have questions about what to do in the pods, how they work, what's the purpose, you know, all that good stuff? Anybody want to chime in or have any questions about the engagement pods?
It would be good, because this is only my second time, if you would kind of reshare that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So basically, to sum up what an engagement pod is, and I will tell you, between content creators, for content creators, there's a little bit of controversy around engagement pods, because you get some people on one side, they want it to be 100% organic, right? They want 100% organic engagement on their content. On the other side, we all know when you're creating content, when you're just starting out, it can be tough, right? Like getting engagement, getting likes, getting the comments, getting the engagement, and breaking outside the algorithm and getting your content that you worked so hard on actually seen by people out there. So that's what we use an engagement pod for. And basically what an engagement pod does is everybody agrees that's in the group to engage on the other content that's in there. Okay, it's like you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of a deal, right? I'll engage on your content, you engage on my content. The one caveat to that, the one time I'll give you some kind of leeway is if the content does not align with your values, right? Don't comment on it, okay? So I give everybody full permission. If you see some content that gets entered into the pods that does not align with your values, like, you don't have to engage on it, okay? I give you permission there. But basically the rest of it, we're just gonna, you know, I'll comment on yours, you comment on mine. What it's gonna do is gonna trigger that LinkedIn algorithm so that that content actually goes visible out there in the community. Let me see if I can, I'll do a screen share real quick to show you some examples on some and some best practices. I think it would be good to kind of walk through some best practices. Okay, so here's one. Let me grab the screen. Okay, so here's one that we did recently from 10.5. Can everybody see my screen okay? Everybody got it? Okay, good. So this was from 10.5. A couple of things that you're gonna see in these pods, right? Number one, you're gonna see this little 3 dots up in the top right-hand corner. Click on that and you'll see this where it says add or remove people. Now we don't want to really add or remove anybody, but the reason why I'm showing you this is because whatever pod that you're in right now, whatever group you're part of, when you click on that, you get a list of everyone that's in that pod. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you so that you can see who you're actually engaging with. All right, like I think that's pretty important. And what I would do from there is go right click and then open them up in a new tab, right? You just open everybody up in a new tab and go connect with those folks because this is your group. This is your accountability group, if you will, okay? So go get connected with those folks, open them up in a new tab, and that would probably be the very first thing I would do from your engagement pod. From there, what we'll want to do is whenever you create content, you take the link to the content that you share and you just post it in here. Like here's an example of the one I did today. So I copied that link and I post it here in the pod. And from here, everybody's job is to like and comment on it as soon as they see it, right? Now, the reason why we do this, guys, the whole reason is to, again, engage that LinkedIn algorithm to show that this is contributing to the positive user experience and to help these posts actually get more views. I have another testimonial. Is Lauren Hulin here in the room today? She's not in the room today. But I wanted to share real quick a testimonial from her. She just landed. There's a lot of people know Lauren. Did you guys know that she landed? Big congratulations to Lauren. Everybody give her a round of applause. Big congratulations. So I do want to read real quick her testimonial because it's exactly what we're talking about. She said, last Tuesday, I received a LinkedIn message from an HR manager mentioning that I might be a good fit for an HR coordinator position they had open. She mentioned that she and I had a mutual LinkedIn connection. Okay, so that's number one, guys, mutual LinkedIn connection. And because of that, a post I made on LinkedIn showed up in her news feed. Okay, she was impressed by the post. She clicked on my profile and upon reviewing it, decided she wanted me to apply for this particular job. I hadn't come across this position during any Google searches or on any job boards that I had conducted. After reading the job description and realizing it was exactly what I was looking for, I applied. That same day, the talent acquisition emailed me requesting that I conduct a one-way interview, recording myself answering behavioral questions. I completed this step, and early the next morning, I received an invitation to participate in a final interview. I interviewed the next day, and during this time, several interviewers mentioned that they were impressed by the videos I had been posting on LinkedIn. Okay. After that interview, I sent the panelists video thank you notes. Okay, she sent video thank you notes, which they appreciated and found to be unique. They offered me a job the following morning, which I ecstatically accepted. My story is a testament to the importance of doing what you can to access the hidden job market. Many of my interviews since May resulted from applications I had filled out online, but this particular job I landed would have never been a possibility had I not networked with as many people as possible and had been active in creating LinkedIn content. So I thought that was pretty important to share with you guys today. That's why we're creating content, right? Is visibility, right? These employers are going to go look at your profile, right? So big congratulations to Lauren. Is it Hulin? Am I saying it right, Mark? You're muted.
Hewlin, Lauren Hewlin.
Hulin. I say it wrong on every show. It's so funny. So big congrats. Does anybody else have any kind of stories they would like to share about maybe their content or struggles or anything that's going on in their search? Anybody want to share anything?
I'll
Oh,
share.
well, this is Stephanie.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Rebecca.
Well, I just made a video for the first time using a new platform, and I added subtitles and I got really creative with it. And before, I was super afraid to make content. I thought, oh my gosh, people are going to see this. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, people are going to see this. This is amazing. So I used Capwing. It takes a little while. It's definitely not as good as some other applications, but there's so many out there. Find one that works for you, and it's going to be epic.
What's the name of that one?
Capwing. It's Kapwing, and it's only on the PC. So you record on your phone, send it to the PC, but it works.
Did you say Pathwing, Pathwing?
Capwing, like K as in Kappa, AP, wing, like a bird.
Okay, Capwing. Okay, got it. Capwing.com. All right. Is there any costs or anything like that on it, or is it pretty simple, pretty easy to use, or?
It's free. My husband's in cybersecurity, so he went through the one that was like the safest and like doesn't use all the data. So hopefully that's good.
Awesome. That's great. And real user friendly, real simple, real easy to use.
If I can figure it out, anyone can figure it out.
All right. How many of you are making content right now? Got a bunch of hands going up. All right, so this is something I'd like for you guys to go check out. Go check out Capwing. One of the things I noticed is that, and you'll probably notice the same thing too, I would do a mixture, right? Like if you guys see my content, I'm always doing videos, right? Videos, in my opinion, will position you as the thought leader in your industry and kind of give you that authority in your space. But I would also mix it up, put some pictures, some copy, some straight text. Sometimes you might want to switch it up a little bit. You don't have to only do video. I mean, you might do like 1 or 2 videos a week, you know? I know we talk a lot about video, but you can switch it up, kind of have a campaign of different things going on. You can do polls, you can do slides, you know, kind of switch it up a little bit. So I think that's pretty important in your strategy as well. Any challenges? What are you guys going through right now?
Hey, Trevor, it's G. Can I ask a question really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, great. It's just about content creation and algorithms and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Really quickly. So I noticed something. A week ago, Saturday, I posted something on a whim. I very, very rarely post on the weekends. I haven't. But a week ago, Saturday, I posted something. Oh my God, yay. It kind of blew up. And then this weekend, Saturday, and by the way, neither of them were in the pod. Neither of my posts over the weekend were in the pod. So in the pod that you're referring to. This past Saturday, I posted something pretty much around the exact same time, upbeat content, everything, and it just kind of stalled initially. Like, is there a rhyme or reason that like you use or mindset when you post? And I don't know if you do much on the weekends or if you save your content for during the week, but like, what are your thoughts on this?
You know, the
weekend, like, what are the best times to post?
No, that's a great question. The weekend, from what I have found, can be an opportunity because a lot of people are not posting on the weekends. Like myself, I don't. You know, it's kind of like I'm off, right? So
Well, right.
you get a guy like me that is posting content every single day, but I'll take the weekend off, right? And so there's a lot of people like that. So what happens is on the weekends, there's just less content out there. So you have the potential of standing out a lot more on the weekend. So I wouldn't deter you from doing the weekend, but you said you noticed it flatlined or just kind of didn't go very far.
Yeah, and again, I don't do it very often on the weekends. Some people swear by it, and you've got, people who swear by certain algorithms, and they know all the metrics and all the whatever. I don't want to say I don't care enough to really do a deeper dive into it, but I was just curious because I know you've got tons of response to your posts always, and you're always out there, period, which is awesome. I was just wondering if you had any thoughts behind it. So.
Yeah, I think it's about consistency over the algorithms. Because look, I'm going to tell you right now, they're constantly changing these algorithms. You're never going to like, I can't figure them out, and I'm doing this stuff all the time, and I've got Shield Analytics, which shows me all the different stats and stuff like that. There's really no rhyme or reason. There are best practices. Okay, I will tell you that there are best practices that I would do. Like, number one, post consistently, right? That's number one, consistent. Whatever that means for you. If that's 8 o'clock in the morning, let it be 8 o'clock in the morning. If it's on the weekend, let it be on the weekend. But build great habits of posting consistently. Like for me, it's every day around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Okay, that's the sweet spot for me every single day. Make sure that you're engaging with all the comments that come in, right? So that's like a best practice. You want to respond, go back and forth, see if you can build a conversation in the comments. If you can build a conversation in the comments, the algorithm starts to pick that up. They like the back and forth in the comments. They like the conversation. So you can ask questions. Pods are another good way to help. That definitely triggers it. I notice, like, if I don't do it in a pod, there's a big difference on my views, right?
Hey, and Trevor, I'll add to that. Gee, it's funny you said that because I had the same kind of frustration a couple weeks ago trying to figure out the algorithm for this. And here's kind of what I've come to realize is that most people don't. What are you up to, Trevor? You have 15,000 connections now. I don't know what your number is.
Around 21 now.
Right. So most of us are just trying to get up to 1,000 and go from there, right? And so if you don't have that level of connections, trying to put any type of numbers around your content, you're just going to be disappointed, right? Because and the other thing with that is that it really boils down to psychology, right? So if you post something where you're being authentic and you're struggling, the psychology of it is people want to build you up and lift you up, and that's what's really cool about this platform. And so those posts are going to get infinitely more discussion and hits and views. I don't think he's on here, but there was a guy that was Mike Avers. He didn't want to post, right? And we started this conversation about, hey man, just get into it. And so he posted something and I shared it. That post got 33,000 views. I've never posted anything myself that's gotten anywhere near that, right?
Wow.
And so I don't know what algorithm that kicked in, but it went insane in 3 days. And so I think the biggest thing that Trevor's saying, and I know Mike does it and some other people do it, just be consistent. Like last week, I was in an 8-hour class every day. I'm trying to get my mortgage loan officer license. And for those of you who either already have one, God bless you. And for those of you who haven't started yet, you really should take your crazy pills, because that is more information through a fire hose than anything I've ever tried to do. But I tried to still just post something, right? I posted something today before I walked the dogs, and within 20 minutes, I had to get my kids to school. I posted a video and had it edited in less than 20 minutes. So the more you do this, and whatever tool you use, it doesn't matter, but you'll get really into it, and it's not that hard. I've already made one for tomorrow wearing the same sweatshirt. I posted it while I was running this morning. So for those who watch it tomorrow and like, man, this guy seems like he has asthma. No, I'm just really out of shape. So like if you just get into something where you like have a thought and it doesn't matter what it is, write it down. It doesn't have to be a video. Like he said, make a text post, if there's a picture that you see on Facebook that inspires you, post that. Like anything that comes to your brain that just has the wheels turning, get in the habit of posting it. And when you do that over and over again, like he said, people will start to connect with certain things. And when those conversations start in your chat and people are going back and forth, those posts go crazy and you never even intended. Like, I think if you go into it with, I'm going to do something so great that's going to go viral, you're going to be disappointed more than not. So just do it, and it works.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I'll tell you right now, who saw my post I did today? Who saw the video I did today? Okay, I got a bunch of hands going up. Okay, great. So it was about gratitude, right? That was the main focus around the video, the copy, and everything like that. So think about that. One word, gratitude. But I created a whole piece of content around it. You got the video, you got the copy. Every day, a habit for me is I have all the videos that I have created, but I still got to create the copy. If you notice, who reads my posts? Anybody here read them?
I read them.
Okay, good. I'm glad because I spent a lot of work on those. But I create the video and then I try to put some context around the video, right? A little more thoughts, right? And yeah, that takes me 30 minutes, right? And that's kind of like usually one of the starts to my day is just I spend 30 minutes writing out my thoughts. And you can do the same thing, but like, again, my post today was around one word, gratitude. That was the main, so to Josh's point, it could be an image, it could be a word, it could be, and you can elaborate around it and really give it some context. But if you really are struggling on ideation, like content ideation, I would recommend looking what's already performing well. Go to Google, go to YouTube, see what people are creating in your space, in your industry. What are people creating right now in your industry? It's a great place to start.
I have a little something to throw into this, Trevor, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
So part of what I do, let's say hypothetically, I'm going to post something at 10:45. What time do you think I actually begin my engagement? Does anybody want to guess?
I know the answer, but I'll let you share it.
Yeah. Okay. So if I'm posting something at 10:45, I start engaging in other people's content at least an hour before I post. And it does a couple of things. One, the algorithm seems to like it because you're engaged in other content too. It gets other people to want to reciprocate because you did something for them. They're going to do something for you. And the other thing too is go outside the content pods if you are in any. I will, the first thing I do in the morning is I go to the content pods I belong to, and I go right down the list systematically and apply and engage in all of them. And then I'll go to my feed. And then I'll just start going through my feed. I mean, people who I don't know because they're a second or third level, I'll jump in. And then what happens is that, they start liking it. And next thing you know, they're looking at your profile. Next thing you know, they're sending you connection requests. So, part of this is just, you got to, don't depend upon others to help boost your views when you could be proactive and get out there. So do at least an hour before you post something and an hour afterwards, because during that, it's what's called the golden hour. And that's when it goes through, the algorithm does its check. LinkedIn actually takes a look at a lot of the content to see if it's something that meets their standards, and then it goes out. But as you're out there and you're still engaging while your post is going on, you real time your responses to people who post to you know, to post responses to your stuff. Same time, go find other people's stuff and just make friends. Just say, hey, great, you know, share, and not just say, hey, that's a great post. Tell them why it's a great post. Because then that's how you get the conversation.
Yeah, that's a great point. So before your post and after your post, you want to be commenting on other people's stuff. The algorithms picks up all that activity, and like you said, it's the law of reciprocity. So if you're you know giving, those people are going to start to give back, right? You're going to get on their radar. So when they start to see your stuff in their newsfeed, they're going to comment. And I know this is like, when you think about it, some of you that are in here maybe thinking like, oh my gosh, I got to be doing all this stuff on LinkedIn and all this stuff. Guys, this is marketing, right? This is marketing. You have to market your search, because otherwise you're just in the black hole, right? We all know what applying online gets you. Not a whole lot. So this is the marketing side, and the hidden job market, like Lauren was saying in her testimonial, like how these things are coming together is by constantly, consistently being visible. And Lauren's been doing a phenomenal job. She's been creating content for quite some time now, probably 4 or 5 months. It took 4 or 5 months worth. So a lot of this doesn't happen overnight. I will say, Lena, we got Lena Stutz in the house. She's been doing a phenomenal job. How many of y'all been seeing her 10 tips, 10 days content, right? Love it, doing a great job, keep it up. And there, you want to unmute your mic and tell us a little bit about that journey, your experience?
So y'all know, or a lot of you know Anna, Anna Morgan, the career BFF. We had run across and just saw someone post, you know, the hashtag 10 tips, 10 days. And so anyways, she said, you might consider doing this. And I said, oh, okay. And I also challenged my friend Shauna so that we would do it together and be accountable to each other to actually do 10 solid days. So you didn't have to do 10 days in a row. And I know it's a lot, but we thought if we did this each day, we would grow our confidence. We would be sure that we actually went through the 10 days and you know, just gain connections. And we you know, I would post it. I wasn't consistent on the time all the time but I did post 2 weekends in a row. It varies in the views. I will tell you, G, some of my first videos still getting comments 10 days ago. So something happens that some people don't check into LinkedIn for a while, or, you know, just different stuff. So don't get discouraged about that. But I will just tell you, the more you do it, yes, the more confident, and just hang in there. But it's part of it. And I thought, you know, it also helps me as far as how I'm talking to people when that day comes that I actually have an interview or propose a plan to a company, that I will be very confident in doing that, because I've been practicing by putting this out there and just sharing some thoughts and ideas. That's it.
I love that. Yeah, you stay polished, right? Because you're practicing, you know, that's great. And you're putting yourself out there, you're getting more comfortable on video. I did the same thing when I first started. I have a little car mount that you put your phone in, and I used to drive around town. I still do it every once in a while and make videos. And what I noticed about it is it's really neat because they're truly authentic. Anybody here talk to themselves? Anybody here? Anybody crazy like me and talk to themselves? Like when you're driving around, like that's me. I'm talking to myself all the time.
Trevor, the best way to get the answer you want is to answer your own question.
Yeah. Yeah, I constantly, I'm talking to myself, I'm driving around in my car, but this is a great way to just like practice. I did it, it's a natural environment. It's, you know, because you're doing something and you're driving. Now don't watch your own video, don't do that. Don't watch yourself. I remember when I first started doing that, I had a lot of people comment in, they were like, oh my gosh, don't do that.
It's
So
okay
don't
to
watch
have
yourself.
a conversation with yourself until you disagree with me, myself, and I.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good tip too, I would say. But yeah, consistency, do the 10 tips in 10 days. Anybody else doing that right now? Anybody else? Who wants to take that on as a challenge? All right, I got some hands going up. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to create more of accountability within this group because I really love you guys being here every week. I love this. I think what we're building here is, in some of our engagement pods, right? Like I said, some of them are working really, really well, but there's a commonality in those ones. There's a lot of people that are actually doing the content, right? So those pods do really well. Shocking, right? The ones where I have nobody in there but me, I'm the only one posting in there, those don't do as well, right? So what I would like to do, for those of you that want to tackle on and take on more, like you want to do the 10 tips in 10 days, I got some hands going up. Let's create a more engaging pod. Let's do one. How many of you are actively creating content? I got a lot of hands going up. Okay, what I'd like for you to do, send me an email, right? And what I'm going to do is, for everybody that sends me this email that says, you know, I'm actively making content, I'm going to make a more powerful pod for you, right? Where everybody in that pod is creating content. Does that make sense? It will help you a lot more, I promise. Because I've got 50 strong content creators in there, and they all comment on my content. It boosts me. You wonder why when you see my content, it gets so many, you know, and it gets so much engagement. It's because of that. So we'll create some more pods and we'll hold each other accountable. I think that's really important. On your guys's registration, I noticed a theme, and the theme this time was interviews. Okay, I had a lot of people having questions about interviews and wanting, you know, they're struggling with their interviews, right? Who's here struggling with your interviews? Or maybe you feel like you could need some help with that. Okay. There's the practice interview team. And I don't know why, but I don't feel like they're getting a whole lot of PR recently. How many of you have been or done the practice interview team, the pit crew? See, I don't got a lot of hands right here. I got a few hands going up. So I want you to guys go look up. It's called the pit crew, practice interview team. Okay. What you can do is you can actually submit a job description, and there are volunteers who will do a practice interview. These are people that have been in the hiring capacity before, or they are currently. So hiring managers and recruiters, they will do a practice interview with you. They give you feedback, they record it. And I also think that recording could be some amazing micro content for you. You can chop that recording up. That would be great content for LinkedIn. Yeah, Josh is shaking his head. He's like, yep. How many of you have been a hiring manager at some point, or interviewed others? Ooh, I got a bunch of hands. All right. Here's another thing that you could do. Interview each other. Practice with each other, right? You can do the same thing. You don't have to use the pit crew. I would encourage that you do that because they already have a system there. They already have a process in place. But you can practice with each other. Like Josh and Jeremy, y'all need to do a collaboration. Just throwing that out there. All right? Yep, you too.
We're up for it.
Right? Y'all two need to do a collaboration and interview each other. And then that collaboration, you can chop it up into a bunch of pieces. And there's a bunch of like little pieces of value in that content that's really good. Who else has questions on like interviews? Like what are your challenges in your interviews that I would like to know specifically? Like what are some things that you're coming up against? Maybe an objection that happens or anything specific?
Trevor, I'll just offer up. I was in a panel interview actually with a company with 3 of their senior leaders. That it's a company that's going through quite a bit of growth. They're slightly over a couple billion in revenue, so certainly not small, but they're not, at the 18 to 30 billion mark, which is where I've played at before. But I think just thinking through that experience, and not to sound at all egotistical, I feel like I do a fairly good job of interviewing remotely, looking into the camera, remembering those tips. But I do think it's hard at times when whether it's one-on-one or one-on-one to multiple interviewers, not only just naturally sharing, the answers to those behavioral-based questions. I think sometimes it's also hard to really gauge the interest level of your audience. And so, to me, I'm a very much an extrovert. So, I can look at everybody here on this call and, get a pretty good sense and be able to engage in a good conversation. But when it's an interview, how do you take it from just being that back and forth robotic experience, if you will, or mechanical experience, to one where it's like this, it's a dialogue? Because I think that's really critical to come across with a sense of purpose, confidence, and a way to demonstrate to the potential employer that, we offer up that skill set. So just some insights that I would share.
Yeah, I love that. I think that it needs to be conversational. If you can make it conversational, you need to do that. One good way to do that is by asking really good questions. Don't always just give them the answer you think they want to hear. They want to know, are you listening, right? Do you have your own thoughts around it? Or are you just trying to give me what I want to hear? So you can always ask them more and get them talking, right? And that's one way that I've found that you can really make it more conversational, is by asking some really, really good questions.
Well, and I want to elaborate on that too. The problem I'm having is just securing the interview, because once I get to the interview, it's just talking, and I like to talk, so that's not really hard. But one of the things that I would just tell everybody to remember, and it's hard. I think if 2020, if it wasn't happening in this year, it wouldn't sound so cliche. But with everything every person on this screen has probably gone through, I think David Meltzer said it really well when he was on the show, and I haven't forgotten it, is that every interview you do, every video you make, every step you take in this process, you're just getting better. If an interview doesn't go well, it may not actually mean that you did poorly in the interview. So don't walk out of it and beat yourself up. I've talked with Jeremy and Steve and Mike. We should go form a super company. I don't even care what we do. It would be freaking amazing, because I know how hard all these guys work and the track record they have. So if they haven't, some of us have been in these groups now for going on 3 and 4 months, and it's not from lack of effort from networking or trying to secure interviews. Like, I think Jeremy knows this. We're working our butt off. I've worked harder in the last 3 months than I ever worked at my last job. It's not even close. But it's really easy to get down. We've got this election coming up that I know everybody is, nervous about. And if your football team, your quarterback goes down, that sucks. And, it doesn't even have to be the career searching, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff that everybody has. So try not to take things as a negative or a personal thing, because you may have rocked that interview. They may just not have been in the right frame of mind to hear it. I talked to a recruiter for Dr. Pepper last week, and I had to ask him twice what the job was that I had applied for to like explain it more, because I kept thinking I heard him right. And every time he said it, I'm like, I've done this job and my resume shows that. How is this guy not getting it? So I had to ask him again, and he explained it again. And I said, okay, well, I just wanted to make sure I'm hearing you right. I know that, you know, you're looking at this through cans of Dr. Pepper, but I've done this with people. Like when there's a product launch, whatever it is, my business has been, how many people do you need? Do they need to be skilled? How much are they going to cost? Is it going to require special equipment? Is there a timeline? Are there safety concerns? And when I broke it down for him that way, he's like, oh yeah, you've totally done this job. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why did I have to explain this to you twice, Mr. Recruiter? Like, I know my resume already told you all this. So again, like, trying to not take your steps back as a step back, because they really weren't. The fact that you even had the interview, you just got better for your next interview.
Mm-hmm.
And the work you did to secure it got you better for the next. So like, we're all going towards this finish line, and you may only be 2 steps away. And I know that sounds cliche. I've felt it. I've gotten down too, but I already know I'm way better than I started this back in April. And I know a lot of you feel the same way, even though we're still seeing each other on these calls. But that's okay, because I like seeing you guys. So just keep doing it. You're going to get there.
Josh, thank you, man. That is awesome.
Thank you,
Okay,
Josh.
Jeremy says mic drop. I don't have my mic. I got a highlighter though, so I'm gonna drop it for you, man. Mic drop.
I have some lipstick, Josh, and I want to just drop it for you because that was awesome. And I want to applaud that, because I'm afraid to do a video. I'm afraid to do all this stuff, but I did a practice interview in front of like 30 people on the sidelines. Like, say I was practicing in front of all of you, and they're like, Lori, you've got this. Why can't you just do a video? Why can't you just go out there? You've got this interview stuff, your enthusiasm, your passion. I go, I just need the darn interview to show these people out in the world, just like you, Jess, just like all of us, that we've got these awesome skill sets. We've got all this seasoned material. We know what we're doing. It's just showing these knuckleheads out there on the street why, like, interview us and just hire us, for Pete's sakes. Get it over with. And it's just, we're all frustrated because I don't know what they're doing, but they're not hiring us.
All these knuckleheads. Mic drop.
But, you know, look at all the people on these screen. If you were to look, there are so many people who aren't doing this today. Like, I know it seems really inconsequential, right? Like, nobody's offering you a job after Coach's Corner. But for every one of you that's on here, there's like 10 people who have never put forth the effort to do this much. So you're already doing more than a lot of other people out there, even though it doesn't feel like it. So, I mean, you should give yourself a clap on the back for trying something. You know, it's going to get there. And Trevor says this, and I know Mark says this, and it's all in God's time. And if
really
it was ours, we would screw it up anyway. So be glad that it's not.
And God is, God is in our corner, man. I mean, let's face it. I mean, he's in our corner, and it's like, I'll call Foster every once in a while, leave a message, and it's like he said numerous times, we have certain talents. That's the other thing too. You need to, take advantage of your talents. God wants you to, he put you on this earth to execute on certain talents. So do that, make that happen, and verify what your why is. I mean, it all ties together, and so I probably want to talk to you, Holly, too, after this, because, I'm probably going to tackle nonprofit. That's probably where I really feel like I'm called to be doing that. There's a lot of people out there that need help.
Hey, Trevor, let me sneak in here. Just one quick
thought.
Guys, listen, and having been interviewing and worked for a lot of different companies over the last 40 years, do not walk away from an interview. If you don't get a job, don't be depressed, because truthfully, a lot of these interviews are mandated by company policy. I'm going to have to interview 15 people no matter what, even if I know I'm going to promote somebody from within, or I already know the candidate I'm going to hire. They may be in a situation where company policy actually dictates the fact that they are going to have to do X number of interviews, and no matter how great you think that went, it may have nothing to do with you whatsoever, and you may have been in that top 10 candidate group because you never know. They look at that, and the guy they think they want in there steps on something or does something wrong or doesn't want the job in the end. But truthfully, a lot of times this happens that has nothing to do with you or anything you said or done. And I mean, the reason I was off this network for the last week is because I had gotten into an interview process with a company in California. And we had been going back and forth, and I had interviewed with the COO, the CEO, the manager, director, the hiring managers, and they flew me out to California, and I did the interview there. And in the end, I didn't get the job. When I got back, I came in second because basically they hired somebody with less experience in that they just weren't ready and financially or anything to put somebody in a position like mine. But I had a great conversation. I built a great rapport and a great relationship with these guys. And the CEO of that company now is passing my name around and my resume around to people he knows. So take nothing for granted. And just because an interview doesn't work, you don't know what will come out of that.
And the great news is there's something better coming.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Guys, you're just planting, right? You're planting seeds all over the place, whether it's, applying online, when you're in the interview, if you're creating a post on LinkedIn, I want you to think of it, you're just constantly planting seeds in the ground. Now, I have a perfect example for you, right? I told you guys that we've been out of our office, right? I haven't been in the office since March, right? Well, I got this book in the mail, okay? Got it back in June, but guess what? I haven't been allowed to get the mail. But I got this book in the mail. So somebody planted a seed back in June. Well, guess what? That seed is now sprouting today, right? Because now I get to go back and say, oh man, I feel really bad that you sent me this book back in June and I haven't reached out to you, right? You guys see where I'm going with this? And so I reached back out to the guy. I sent him a video. I said, man, I really appreciate you sending me this book. Thank you. He wants to come on the show. So guess what? He's coming on the show, right? Because I feel bad. There's examples of like that's happening with you right now. You don't see what's happening on the back end, but you've planted a seed and it hasn't really grown yet. It's lying dormant. But one day, God is going to activate that thing. It's going to sprout. Does that make sense?
Hey, I've been quiet for most of the meeting, and I just want to give you guys all the opportunity to talk and chime in. But I really want to just reiterate what I typically say, and that's what should you be worried about, right? You can't worry about a lot of the things that are out of your control. It does you no good. And there is nothing that you can do to a lot of these things. Like Philip, you said, it doesn't matter how well the interview went. It's out of your control. They've already made the decision that they're going to promote somebody within, and now they're just going through the motions. So why even worry about that? That's a great example of, just staying focused on what the prize is. The prize is the job, and that's what you should be worried about. And what does it take to get to that? It takes a positive attitude and positive activity. Right.
And cadence, which Trevor, you were on Paul Cameron's thing a couple weeks ago. It's a cadence. You wrap a process around this and you're resilient, and God's got your back, man.
You guys ever seen the movie Rounders? Have you guys ever seen the movie Rounders with Matt Damon? Right. And they talk about the grind. They talk about the grind versus the hitting it big. And that's what it is. Jim, I know you and I talked about this a little bit today, right? That it's a grind. But slow and steady, and that's what wins the race.
Yeah, it's the activity that you're putting in the ground. How many seeds are you planting? And like, this is why I'm such an advocate, guys, for BombBomb, right? You guys know I'm such a huge advocate for that, or Loom, or whatever, whichever one you want to use, whatever you want to use. But I am an advocate for these personalized video messages. It's like a voicemail that you're sending to somebody, because when you do that, you're planting a seed that is just about guaranteed a response. Okay, when I write someone's name on this thing like this, they're going to respond to me. I planted a seed, and I'm just about guaranteed that this person is going to say, oh, and reach back out to me, right? When I plant a seed into the ATS, are you guaranteed a response? Nope. Like, and if you get one, it's probably a canned email, right? It says thanks, but no thanks. Now, what I will tell you, it's part of the process. Understand that look, Josh, you guys see Josh's sign? I love that. I love that. You know what? Let's do that real quick. How many of you got your signs? Anybody got signs? Put your signs up. Oh, I love this. Everybody get your signs out. I'm going to take a screenshot. Put your signs up. Come on, Josh. He's writing it. He's writing right now. Hold on. Oh, he's got a blank screen. All right, I just took a screenshot. That's pretty cool. But, you know, when you put your information into the ATS, right, you may or may not get a response. It's just part of the process, though. You have to do it. You have to. But let's go get people involved. Let's go plant some seeds. I would recommend like 10 of these a day, at least, bare minimum, 10 a day. You can do 10 a day. In an hour, you could do 10 a day.
So Trevor, process question for you. If I'm doing a LinkedIn message, how do I post the link into it? I mean.
Yep. So here, I'll do a quick screen share for you guys, and I'm going to show you. Okay. Let's see. Screen share. Show you exactly that. Okay. So the first thing, if I got BombBomb up, right, I will tell you, if you guys are using that tool, they have a Chrome extension. I would highly recommend that you download that Chrome extension so that it's always up. You know, if I'm on my LinkedIn browser, let's say I'm on the home browser over here, I'm on LinkedIn. Well, I've got this Chrome extension right here at all times. So I can pull it up. Now, when I pull up the Chrome extension, you'll see a couple of tabs. Number one, up here says record. You can record only, or you could do a screen record, which will capture the whole screen, which is nice. You have your video library. So if you guys see here, look at this. I've sent out thousands of these things. Like, this is my video library here. I've sent out thousands. One thing I will recommend is that you title all of your videos. So notice how this one says, thank you for the book, Dave. That was the example of that guy. I sent him a video. I said, thanks for the book. But make sure you title your videos. Here, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to copy it. Copy link. Oh, okay. So there's 3 dots right here. You click on that. This one says copy link. All right, you see that? So you copy that link. And let's go to a message.
They've also got the Edge extension out too.
Oh, they got an Edge extension. Cool. Let me find our pod. So I'm gonna put this example in this 10.5 pod. I'm not sure if you're in there, but at least you can see it. When I click on paste, I just paste it in there. Now, I would not just a quick tip. I wouldn't just post that link in there. I would say something like, you know, whatever their name is. I'm gonna say Brad. Oops. I would say something like, please watch this short video. Would love to hear your thoughts. Something like that, okay? So make sure you have a little bit of text and then paste it in. Now, what happens is, now you got this video message that pops up. It has a GIF. So think about that. The GIF loops the first 3 seconds of the video. So if I send this video right here, why do I have the book in my hand? Because he wrote that book. You think he's going to press play? 100% he's going to press play, right? He knows this isn't spam. He'll click a link because he sees his own video in it and it says, thanks for the book, right? Like, he's going to press play. So that's how you do it. It's pretty simple. You just paste that link in there. A couple other things on the extension. Your tracking is over here. Here's why you want to title your videos. Notice this one right here, I didn't title. It says quick send video, January 30th. Well, it's got 11 views on it. That's from January 30th. But I don't even know what the heck video it is because I didn't title it, right? So Coach's Corner, 69 clicks, you know, like it'll tell you your emails, how many opens they get. Look at that, Josh Ferris, I can see. He's right there. I can tell right here, recipient Josh Ferris, 8 opens. Thanks, Josh, appreciate you. But this is it's a good, you get the tracking, and the tracking is important because you want to know when to follow up, right? And the best time to follow up is when they just watched your video, right? You're top of mind, they just thought about you. Does that make sense? So when it comes to those little personalized videos, how many can you do a day? Actually, how many of you are doing it right now? How many are you doing this strategy? I saw a bunch of whiteboards, all right? All right, put in the chat, how many on average are you doing a day? I would like to hear from you how many on average you are doing a day. Jeremy, 30 to 40 a day. Now, I love that, Jeremy, and let me tell you why. Jeremy would not do 30 to 40 a day if it wasn't working. And I haven't asked him, I'm not setting him up. But Jeremy, do you feel like it's working?
Completely, Trevor. So, you know, I was, like many, hesitant to use any type of video chat before. You know, InMail, as some of us know, with LinkedIn is hit or miss. You know, some people are really good about checking their InMail and LinkedIn, others are not. You know, email can get lost, but video makes a world of difference, especially when you have the caption board and you have their name on there. I've been tracking data since late July, and for every video DM that I send direct message, I'm getting anywhere between a 70 to 85% response rate off of the initial click.
It's huge.
So, you know, and to what you said earlier, Trevor, it's planting seeds. Don't expect, hey, I've got this job opportunity for you after the first message, right? You're trying to reach out to people that you've met for the first time. Mike said it earlier, I try to engage on somebody's content and then I'll send them a direct message and connect with them. And then that gets the ball rolling. Tonight, I've got a call as an example with a gal in the biotech business. And I had been engaging on her content for about a month. And then I finally decided, you know what, I just want to direct message and ask her a question that was relative to the biotech industry. And she reached back out and about 5 minutes later and said, yeah, let's connect tonight. So, you know, there's nothing more powerful than having a visual of the person and having it be personalized to them. So there you go.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I just do. When you put 30 to 40, I know me, I'm not going to do it 30 to 40 times a day if it's not working. You have to think of it that way, guys. Like, it works.
It works, right? And it works. And I would just say, you know, build up the confidence. If you don't feel confident and this is your first time starting out, you know, shoot for 5 to 10 a day. You know, plan to do some in the morning and then some in the afternoon. You know, I would recommend, having done this long enough, don't do it when you're tired. Make sure you've got, you know, you're in your professional setting, wherever that is, and that you're dressed appropriately. I don't think I have to say that to this group. But it is a reminder. But, you know, it literally, each message now that I generate, I can usually get to the point where I'm doing 10 messages, video messages, within about 30 minutes. So less than 3 minutes per message.
I love that. So let's say I'm just using your math, okay? So if I'm doing 30 a day, in 5 days, that's 150. Okay, 150 personalized video messages, all right? in a month, that's 600 in a month, right? And I'm going to go on the low end of the number that you said on your engagement rate, times 75%. You guys, you can see that. I don't know if you see it or not. No, you can't. 450 conversations that you guys started because you just put their name on a whiteboard and reached out, right? 450 conversations. Now, what I will tell you is, how long have you been doing that, Jeremy?
I've been doing that now for about, what, 10 weeks?
10 weeks.
Late July, early August. Yeah.
Have you seen your interviews from some of those conversations that you're getting? Are your interviews going up? Are you getting more interviews?
Getting more interviews and definitely getting more, having more dialogue. Sometimes it's, hey, we're interested in having a conversation. You get in there and realize that maybe it's not the right fit one way or the other, but definitely seeing an increase in that capacity. And, the networking opportunities to meet people and talk to people that I never would have talked to. And we're not just talking people here in the US. I mean, I'm talking to some foremost leading experts in digital health and medicine out of Australia that are working in a partnership with Cathay Airlines in the Pan-Asian areas for rugby football and making sure their teams are all tested appropriately for the COVID virus. And there's a whole program now that's being almost like a digital passport that allows these teams to travel back and forth amongst continents. So, it's just, you never know where that outreach is going to go. But I definitely am seeing an increase in the interview process. Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say, because you just can't help but to, when you have that much, you're planting seeds, right? You have that many seeds that you've been planting. Like, that's what you've been doing. You've planted 600 seeds in a month. Like, you're going to get a harvest. It's going to come. It may take a little bit, but I was curious to see what your actual experience has been. So that's awesome.
Yep.
All right, guys. I know we went a little bit over. I could sit here and talk with you guys all day. I love you so much. I just want you to know that. I really could. I could talk to you all day long. What I want you to do, take note of this real quick. For those of you that are creating content right now, right? And you've been doing it consistently and all that, what I want to do is create an extremely active pod just for you. That way, everybody knows the rules. We're going to engage on each other's content. You do not have to engage if it does not align with your values, okay? So if somebody posts something in there and it just doesn't align with you, right? That's your free pass. Don't engage on it. But make sure you look at the next one that they put in there. Maybe the next one does, right? Just because one doesn't mean that the next one won't,
Hey, Trevor, I got a question. You're talking about posting to our pod, whatever content we produce, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, any content that you're producing, put it in the pod. Copy the link to it. After you post it, you copy the link, put it in the pod. Now, I will say, this new pod that I'm going to create, it's strictly a raw engagement pod, okay? So we keep the chit chat to a minimum in those ones, okay? And the reason why is because what happens is all those notifications, it makes it hard to find what we're actually there for, which is to engage on people's content. So if we have all the back and forth comments in there, we're going to leave that to a minimum, right? So if you want to send somebody a message, just reach out to them personally and send them a message. Don't chat back and forth inside the pod, if that makes sense.
Better yet, send them a bomb video message.
Yeah, send them a bomb video message.
There you go.
So, all right, guys, I'll put that together for you. Just send me an email, whoyouknowshow@gmail.com. I'll put it together. If you want in to that pod, I'll make it for you. I'll create it. And hopefully we can get some more engagement and kind of boost it a little bit further.
Hey, you didn't have to use the wheel of discomfort today, Trevor.
I didn't have to. We're getting more comfortable in here.
Hey, Trevor, I have one comment that might help.
Yeah.
I've been creating content, but not video content, mainly because I'm targeting the industrial market, but I'll get to the video. But the content that I've been creating gets, I don't know, 300 to 400 views, 9 or 10 likes. But what the point I wanted to point out to the group was, because of you, or maybe Holly, you guys referred me to Andy Cook. So I purchased an hour session with Andy Cook. I don't know if she's on here or not. It cost me $100, but she helped with my resume and gave me a lot of information and helped me tweak my entire resume and gave me some other tools to use. After that session, I posted a comment on LinkedIn about thanking her for the opportunity to work with her, tagged her. That message here has had 2,700 views.
Nice.
Why that did 2,700. Some of the other stuff I kind of threw out there's 200, 300, 400, but that's growing like every day. So I would recommend everybody contact Andy. It seems to be, I feel it's worth it to me.
You want to know why that is? You want to know why that is?
It's just blown up.
Well, here, I'll tell you why it is. Why that piece of content got so much activity. So Andy's very active on LinkedIn, right? And she's got a pretty large network, okay? Her network's not small. So I guarantee you, when you tagged her and you gave her all this props and you're like, hey, Andy did amazing and all this and that, she probably commented on it, right? I would imagine.
She commented on every one of them.
Yep. So she's commenting in on it. Other people who love her, which everybody loves Andy Cook, by the way, I'm sure they probably came to her support and were like, oh yeah, Andy's the best, right? You probably got some of those, right? Yeah. It's the activity that will keep it going further. But I love what you're saying too, Craig. I love it. You outsourced an area to Andy, and she's not expensive, guys. She's $100 or whatever.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
She will, the value that she's going to give you is way surpasses anything that you'll ever pay her. But I'm sure that relieves some of that pain point with the resume. The resume is tough, guys. That resume. Whew.
She just took my resume while we were on a video call, and she just was asking questions. She reworked my whole resume, formatting, keywords, while we were sitting there chatting. It was amazing. So
y'all go check out Andy Cook, maximizeyourjobsearch.com, maximizeyourjobsearch.com. She's a great resource. So, all right, guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Make sure you tune in this Wednesday. And if you got any other friends or anybody else that's in search right now that needs some support, you know where to send them. Send them to the summit, okay? Send them to the Who You Know Summit. And that way we can coach them and get them in here. But we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks, team.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. And then there were 6.
That's right.
No, 9. I can't count.
Trevor, we love you. We love all
you. Love you
guys.
too. Thank you. Bye. They're not going. They're like, I'm staying.